Hey, everybody, and welcome to Maximum Libertarian. If this is your first time being here, please click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, like and share the video. And as always, please go over to Twitter and follow us there too at We Are Max Lib. So everything's running across the bottom there on the screen. So please, if you didn't, We Are Max Lib, you can spell it out right there. So we're joined here today by the millennial himself. He just got done taking some thirsty photographs. He's the one, the only, Mr. Shaun. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Well, thank you for coming in today. I guess, as you know, there's not a lot been going on this week. And, well, besides Wonder Woman 84 dropping 67%. So I guess that's what we brought you here for.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. You know that. You're not that. I just fooled you. All right. No, what we're here to talk about is the riots and the protests that happened in Washington, D.C. I wanted to get your take on it because I know you're not like myself, who is a member of the Libertarian Party. I've backed candidates more vocally than you. Yes. I mean, not just sharing things on Facebook or going into Twitter wars or whatever you kids do now. But
yeah,
we're gonna watch some videos.
Oh, okay.
All these videos are linked in the description, so I don't want to, because anything that we talk about, I definitely want to make sure people can go verify it. You know, a lot of stuff here is our opinion. It possibly might be our opinion, but then the stuff that's true, when like Joe Biden tells the guy in Ukraine, either you fire the attorney, the attorney general over in Ukraine, or you're not going to get this money. And then a few hours later, the attorney was fired. That's on video, Joe Biden saying, and I think everyone should go see it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not just trying to pick on Joe Biden.
But you're just saying you want to get people do your own homework and verify stuff for yourself.
Yes, that's about it. All right, here we go. This is our first one we're going to bring up.
Let me look at this.
All right, now if you want me to fast forward any or pause it, just tell me.
Okay.
It's no big thing. This is Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. So let's see what happened.
Walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're going to the Capitol, and we're going to try and give. The Democrats are hopeless. They're never voting for anything. Not even one vote. But we're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country. USA! 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 USA!
This is crazy. Yeah. Dad, what's up? Oh, man. This is nuts.
Just real quick, where do you think you would be if you were in that mob? Do you think you would be? Because that's a lot of this is mob mentality. So everyone starts speeding up, like they start getting violent, they start running towards the cops.
Yeah.
Do you think in your head? Now, in my head, I'm going to run to the side. I'm not going to be part of it. But I could easily see me getting wrapped up into it and go running in there, arms of frailing.
With me, what I would like to do, ideally, I would not want to be center or front, just because, I don't want to get trampled or caught up. I would rather be towards the front, but towards the side. That way, I am sort of out of the danger, but I just want to be at the front just so I can be witness. Hey, I'm here up front. I can see things that's happening more clearly.
Right. All right, let's keep on watching a little bit as the violence unfolds.
Back to blue, baby.
Now, who would get up there? Look at him up there.
That guy. Hold on. Did you pause it for a second? Yeah. I'm not sure if it's going to be in this video or another one because I haven't seen this video, but I was watching one video where they were scaling the walls much like the way it is there, because it's easy to scale, get up top, and they had one guy fall back, and it looked like he fell back into the guardrails.
Yeah,
that old guy.
Was that the one where was playing the Mario theme song?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one that's getting shared. Now,
I mean, look at them being nice and orderly, walking up the ramp through there.
Nice. Now at that point, they're nice and orderly.
Right here, nice and orderly fashion. Chaos with manners.
Let's go right here.
Oh, when they start the breath. No, that's not it.
What's that?
I thought this was the one. I remember when the lady got shot.
Yes. Oh, that's nice.
They have that sign there that's preventing them from coming in. Wow.
I'll skip up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, now here's the first video that I saw was just this madness right here inside. I couldn't believe that they have made it inside the Capitol.
This was very suspect right here, somebody pointed out.
Why that?
You see, and the way the guy was pointing it out is, you see him stand there, there's one security guard, right? And he's run up the stairs, and then he'll stop, turn back to him, and they'll stop and back away. And the person who was doing the video, the spin they were trying to put on was like, he's leading them somewhere. He's like leading them where they need to go, but he has to make it look like he's trying to stop them.
Wow.
I mean, love it like his one shoot was. I mean, they could have easily just ran that guy over.
Oh, yeah. So we're seeing all of them just walking.
We were just told that there has been tear gas in the rotunda, and we're being instructed to each of us get gas masks that are under our seats.
Well, I just learned that they keep gas masks under their seats.
And here they come into the chambers. And for the most part, that's it. And then, of course, there are several scenes I've seen where with them being up there. And let's go back now, and we will remove it for right now.
All right.
So, what did you think about this?
About just what I just saw?
Yeah, or the riots, not just what you saw, but the riots in general.
Well, one, I thought it was, I don't want to say a shame, but you look at these riots that happen, and of course, when they talked about going up there before, and people kept worrying about what they were going to do, I was one of the people that goes, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to be the ones to break in and riot or do nothing. You're overreacting. And then here they are breaking into the building and doing all the stuff that they did. And, well, I guess I was against it for the most part. I mean, because the main reason is, and it's having to compare it to all the Black Lives Matter stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of hypocrisy on both sides surrounding all of this riot issue and everything. Here you have these people who were chastising the left and the riots they were doing. And they were saying, we would never behave that way. Well, here they are behaving exactly like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I was surprised that it did take place.
Yeah.
I am very disappointed. I've been telling a lot of people that I know who are Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Who are them radical Trump supporters.
I know a few of those.
Yeah. And I was like, what's your next step? And they're like, well, he's going to be and then he will continue to be the president after January 20th. And I was like, well, he's not, nothing's going to happen. The establishment will not allow that to happen.
Yeah.
I said, what is going on? So what's the next step? well, he's going to be, I'm praying. Okay, well, let's go off my idea. You've prayed and God makes Trump the president. What are you going to do? All right, what are you going to, it's mine. Let's go off mine. They had no answer. What I would have loved to have seen President Trump do was get on his bully pulpit and say, look, I got screwed out of the election. The Dominion machines are bad because they got hijacked. They're hackable.
Yeah.
And look, prove me wrong because there's a video of a guy in the middle of the Georgia. He's talking to the folks, election board down in Georgia. And as he's giving his speech, he says, as we speak, my team has hacked into computers down in Georgia. And it wasn't a mobile site. It was one that is in a permanent building.
Yeah.
And in turn, let's fix this issue. Let's not close our eyes and pretend it didn't happen. Because look, election fraud happens everywhere. Since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
People have been cheating to win.
Yeah.
And that's not like it's a shock. But let's try to get this stuff closed up. And then by Trump he kept hollering, I've got this. When people see this information, this is going to expose it. Why didn't he release it?
That's the biggest thing I've noticed. I'm sorry, but that's the biggest thing I've noticed with not just Trump but with a lot of things, with a lot of issues that we don't need to get into that extend with conspiracy theories or non-conspiracy, whatever. It's like people always sit there and say, I have this information. And once it's out, well, why don't you put it out? Like put it out so that then people can then see it and then work with it.
Right. So that's a big issue that I had.
Yeah.
Do you think Trump should be okay? From what I've heard, 5 people are dead.
Yeah.
There's a Capitol police officer. He got hit with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
You had
recently.
the lady who gets shot in the chest. You had one lady, from my understanding, fall down and she got trampled.
Yeah.
And then you had 2 people. One died from a heart attack and one died from
a stroke or something.
All right. So there's 5. So far during this whole incident, 5 people have died. And everyone's hollering that Trump should be 25th Amendment. Let's get him out of there. He's done it. Do you think Trump should be held accountable for that?
My thoughts on that are this. At first I was no, and I'm still kind of in that category, but I just had not a recent discussion, but back and forth on Facebook where there's a guy who says Trump needs to be held accountable. Now, my only issue with all that is, one, I personally feel that the people who want to hold Trump accountable for that just want to do it out of spite. It has, and of course, there's been a few people that said that the 25th Amendment, if he gets pulled out, he could still run for re-election. But if he gets impeached, he can't hold public office again. They want to impeach, and they say we want him impeached so he can't run for public office. But so it does, and it almost feels to me like they just want to do it out of spite because they have this sort of virtual hatred for the man. But this is what I was going to talk about to you a little bit with you earlier before you want to have the stuff come on screen. At first glance, I was like, no. Mm-hmm. And of course, at first glance, I was like, with the whole coup attempt, it's like, this isn't a coup attempt. But then, like, more and more information comes out, you sit there and you wonder, it's like, was it a coup attempt or was it just something that just got out of hand? But when it comes to Trump, they're saying he needs to be punished for inciting them. You come to a very slippery slope in that regard because, one, people need to be held accountable for their own actions. If he was out there saying you need to go down there and you need to invade the building and you need to take it over, clearly I could see that. But in terms of what we have so far, I would have to lean more towards no, unless, and the same thing I said to this one guy I was talking to on Facebook, unless you want to go back and charge these people who were, when the Black Lives Matter riots were happening and people were getting injured in them, especially in Chad cities and stuff, where people were able to take over sections of the city, claim them as autonomous zones, if I have that terminology word correctly, as we are separate from the United States, and crimes were being committed in those zones, and people did die in those zones, and these elected officials were encouraging them to a certain extent by not stopping it or by getting on TV and, you know, showing support of that. So it's like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're going to punish Trump, you got to punish them. And then and I told that one guy, and it's like trying to be somebody who is fair and balanced. If you agree that you need to punish them, then I have to sort of take into consideration your demand to punish Trump. If you can you follow me? What I'm saying?
I know. Exactly
Yeah.
what
So
you're saying. I mean, that's a reason, but that's a reasonable outlook. That's how when you're looking at it.
yeah.
Why aren't you, if you're so worried about Trump and the 5 people that, you know, senselessly died here, why aren't we worrying about the folks that had died back in, you know, just a few months ago?
Yeah.
When that guy was turned down the wrong street, and I think he opened fire on the one guy as he pushed his girlfriend or his fiance in a wheelchair down the street.
Like that person, and of course there was that there was like, and somebody else brought up, you know, all these people are claiming, it's a weird thing how people are switching and everything, and we can talk more about that later. But now there's a few instances where the left wants to act like they care about the cops now to a certain extent. But then there was that one, I can't remember if he was a retired officer. Yeah, that was a retired police officer, that one old black guy that tried to stop the looters, who was a retired police officer.
Got shot.
Yeah, shot and killed.
Yes.
But they didn't care about that.
Right.
So
really, they should have cared about that.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that I will say about this, what they did, these folks in D.C., is they went to the right spot.
You see,
I will say that, because all of our issues and everything, and I'll give more of a thought process in a minute, but all the laws and interaction and policies, they come from there.
Yeah.
And so in turn, burning down that, not that I want to see that building burned down by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But that's where the folks who pretend to care about the working man, they go. That their paychecks have not stopped.
Yeah.
They're still being able to do insider trading. They're doing everything that we can't do.
Yeah.
And who, you know, we would be punished for it. So at least they went to the right house.
So that made me think about.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
It really makes me really mad when I see suburban, well-to-do kids. No matter if, a lot of times you see them white.
Yeah.
That bothers me so bad, in the black neighborhoods, burning down black buildings, black-owned buildings.
Yeah.
Small businesses.
Yeah.
And that makes me mad. It makes me mad when you see the kids who are living in that neighborhood burning down their own buildings, because they will have nothing to go to. So in turn, I would love to see a little bit more interaction.
See, that made me think about because I was thinking about that too, and somebody else, down here, he's Eric July. He took and he made a statement too that I agree with, and I thought about it before. He goes, he doesn't have a dog in either fight, but he goes, at least these people went to the right place. At least they went to the place where their complaint was. They didn't go down and burn down a Wendy's or loot a Walmart or smash people's windows out. Like, they didn't burn down a community. They went straight to the place where they had their grievance.
Right. I'm total agreement with you. All right. So now let's add to the string. This is videos of, this is kind of dicey here. It's saying the Capitol Police opened the doors for the protesters.
See, that's where it gets a little sketchy. Because I know I'm not sure if it's showed on this video, but I've seen another video from the other side where it shows them opening the doors.
Well, wait, we can mute that down a little bit. So,
that one guy's afraid they were going to get locked in. Well, at least he was smart in his paranoia. Well, you know, it's a public building.
It is.
I mean,
well, if you remember, do you remember when, like, I remember Abraham Lincoln, you could just walk right into the White House because that was the way they saw it. That was our building. I thought there was a video here of them pulling it open. There was a one.
I saw that video where it shows them open the door.
Yeah, well, that wasn't the video. I thought I had one where it opened up like the gates. People were standing there, and it was pulled back, and it was real not good. Not good at all.
What you know? What I would like to see something of not. I don't need to see a timeline of it, but right there, they're opening the doors for them. But then you have the other footage of them breaking out the windows. So it's like, were these happening at the same time? Did they? Did it happen out there? Did they let them in?
Here's the one that I was thinking about.
I raising open the They're letting in the protesters because it's like they're
like they just pulled the fucking gate open.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, there we go.
So it almost seems like they're like, okay, you have a right to come in here and protest, and then they.
That's insane, right there.
Yeah, but why would they? But then it's like, okay, so and that's another thing too. You have the cops opening the gates right there. Right. You have security opening the doors to let them in. I mean, there's some areas where they smash. It's weird. Some areas they smash in windows and the doors are barricaded, but in other areas they're opening up the doors and letting them in.
Right.
And then of course there are these cops taking selfies.
The cops were taking the selfies.
What? No, like there'll be people taking pictures with the cops, but the cops are posing with them. And so it makes you look at it and you go, okay, is this a situation to where it's suspect? Okay, you go, it's like, are they just like, hey, these are the Trump supporters and the Trump supporters back to blue, so they're on my, so I take pictures with them? Or is it a situation to where, yeah, I'm gonna let you in so that you could create this chaos or do whatever?
Well, you know, real quick, if you remember back when you're talking about the create the chaos,
yeah.
If you looked at back in the summer, Black Lives Matter, there was a lot of infiltration by government officials, causing violence. It's a well-known thing by the CIA. What they'll do is they'll go in, they'll send like someone, and that police officer that they I think he doxed him. Remember, he was busting the windows out.
I remember that guy. They
of the auto zone, and you know, of course, immediately people started to holler that people were being busted in. They were showing pictures of like one of the guys with the wool, fur hat, horns, and they were showing him at an Antifa rally, and they were also showing him at
was it a QAnon guy? Or was it one of those was the Q? I saw they're saying one of those people they associated with QAnon.
Right. And you know, so in turn they're showing pictures of these folks at the same rally.
Yeah.
What bothers me more than anything, and so much, is when people you have a bully pulpit and you rally and rile up folks, and then you go home. President Trump made the comment in his speech at the beginning, we're going to walk down.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be down there with you.
That reminded me of when President Obama said, when there's going to be a strike, I'm going to put my tennis shoes on and I'm going to be marching with you. No, you're not. You're not. Come on. Why would you even say that? But he spins up his crowd. Trump spins up his crowd, whoever's sitting there. And in turn, what you get is you get this.
These are the results from it.
And now, like, they don't have any type of focus. Because they're just spinning. So it's just a bunch of energy bouncing off the wall. Boom, 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 boom. Had Trump been smart, he would have said, step one, I lost. So what? Now we're going to make sure that never happens again.
Yeah.
Everyone should be able to rally around not having free and fair elections.
Yeah.
It was like when the Tea Party came out, they said pretty much like, we want to just follow the Constitution and keep a balanced budget. Everyone should be able to rally around that. Now, but, you know, of course, for whatever reason, they allow these Republicans to hijack them. And they're now, you know, Tea Party's what the Tea Party is.
Yeah.
And the Trump supporters are just going to go home and get back into the cave, or they're going to become.
Somebody was saying they're just going to.
They're not going to do anything.
What's like? Oh, they're going to run around trying to find the next. And I think the next person to follow or jump on. And I think somebody was saying that there was a few representatives, well, not a few, but there are some representatives. I can't remember who the name. Ted Cruz was one of them, and there's some other guy. But anyway, they're still on the Trump camp because people suspect they're thinking about the 2024 elections, and they're thinking that, hey, these people are trying to get the Trump base behind them so they can have them when they go up to the 2024 elections.
I can definitely see that being an issue. Now,
no, somebody said something, not to cut, that made me think about it. But anyway, I was talking to some people yesterday, and a couple of them there were Trump supporters, and they were very vocal about what's happening to the country and everything. But it didn't get too far in the politics, but long story short, he was saying something's supposed to happen on the 19th. There's something else that's supposed to happen. I don't know if it's another march, another protest, another something, but he said something is supposed to happen on the 19th.
Right. Now, can you send me that when you or whoever told you that?
No, it's like in person.
Oh, it was in person.
Yeah, it's in person. There was no link.
I would love to know. I guess I have to Google.
I guess I should Google too.
What's going to happen on the 19th?
Because when did they do the?
I think the 19th is when everybody's going to come onto YouTube and subscribe to this channel.
You know what? I think that is a good moment for that to happen. The 19th. but isn't the there's something, I'm like I said, I'm not the politics guy, but when does Joe get sworn in?
20th.
The 20th. Yeah. So the 19th is the day before the 20th. So they're gonna have one last hurrah. Somebody was in the sidetrack. Somebody was sitting there saying, it's like, they go, what Joe Biden, they can't have the regular swearing in front of all the people. They're gonna have to do it in private. It's like, well, they do that in private anyway. He's the one that's out for us is just for show, from what I'm aware of. So it's not going to really matter. It's not that big of a deal, unless you want to add more conspiracy theories. But I just said what Joe Biden and Kamala should do is, if a crowd shows up, is just get sworn in, but just walk out there in the middle of the crowd, staring everybody down, and get sworn in right in the middle of them, looking at them all like, yeah, what are you going to do?
God, could you imagine Secret Service throwing a fit about that one? Yeah, so now... And all right, so back when Black Lives Matter took place,
yes,
they were showing all the videos of all these riots, and they thought that would hurt Trump during the summer. They thought, and it actually, in turn, it started to help Trump. Yeah, because people were saying, like, they might believed or accepted the movement, but they did not like the violence and the burning down. Yeah. Now what you're seeing, and so once they saw that, the media, it was like, it went away. Yeah. People were like, and a coworker, mom who lives in New York, she's like, well, there's no rioting anymore. And he was like, are you kidding? They're still rioting right now. They've been rioting in Portland for 50 days or 60 days, whatever it was. Yeah. And he's like, they're still rioting. She never knew about it. Well, now that this has happened, now Trump, it's flip-flopped. And now people, as you said, I think earlier, the Democrats have, they're the law and order party, and the Republicans look like they're not, and you got this craziness going on happening. And that's and you're also having people holler insurrection and these are traitors, and how this politician should have to resign, and this politician. They're not calling for Eric Swalwell, what's his name, from California, who's been sleeping around with a Chinese lady, to resign because she was he's on the Intel committee. All right. Yeah. They're not hollering about that. They're hollering about these people who are saying, hey, let's look at make sure everything we do is right. Yeah. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Hey, just so those folks who are saying, oh, it's a rigged election, it's phony, that you go, here's facts. We looked at it. We saw nothing in the story, but they're just poo-pooing it. But people we got actually caught are on Intel committees. That's insane right there to me. I think what's his name? Eric Swalwell?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, he is tied to China. Yeah. Joe Biden's tied to China, but we're not going to talk about that. I wish I wouldn't have started talking about that because it threw my train of thought. Right. But I guess with the media showing Now it's just going to show the riots because it hurts Trump and it hurts anyone who supports Trump, like the politicians. So let's watch some of their classics right here of what they thought about. Now this is a good one because he said this is pretty much a peaceful protest. But as you can see, there's burning building right there.
I want to be clear how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists, and they've taken a principled stand to stand against white supremacists and white nationalists wherever they may show up.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what
Real quick, anyone who backs Antifa is a moron because Antifa, everything they do is fascist. They silence speech, they burn books. Now let's continue on. You have anything to say about Antifa?
No, I just what you said. I find it, yeah.
fighting. Listen, there's no organization is perfect. There's some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
Thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I don't care that much about statues.
Shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?
People will do what they do.
You're seeing behind me is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Do not get it twisted and think that this is something that has never happened before, and this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
Most of the major movements in American history have started at the grassroots level and at some point have turned into direct conflict with American government. So remember your history before you judge your present.
Thuggishness is thuggishness.
Hold that for a second. I just find that amazing though, because he said, remember your history before judging your present. And I can see some validity to that. But then people always turn around and say, we have to learn from history. We have to do better. We have to find better ways. The same, and of course, these same people are the same ones that are quote unquote the party of peace. Well, we have to find a peaceful solution to stuff. Well, until it benefits us to find the non-peaceful.
Right. All right, let's finish this up. This is him saying, this gentleman was saying, let's back it up. He'll say,
your present.
Thuggishness is thuggishness wherever it comes from politically, and we should be the first to call it out.
I disagree.
So I guess that gentleman does not want to, he don't want to call out
thuggishness.
Thuggishness.
Oh, really quick. Here's what I love though, too. I would love, okay. Every person that you saw on there, public figure, well, Nancy Pelosi and all the other ones. All right, since they don't care about the violence that ensues, the rioting that happens, next time, take it to their house.
No. They've already taken that stuff to their house.
Oh, they did?
They just a couple weeks ago, they went and
oh, yeah, they did vandalize, spray painted her house.
They did her house. They've done Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, they did do
to
that.
That senator, the one who had his book canceled by Simon and Schuster.
Yeah.
No. This is nonsense.
And the reason why I said that was simply because here they are. It's okay for you to do this to other people's property.
Right.
But do it to but then when you do it to their property, what do they say? Remember that one mayor? I can't remember what city it was, but the Chads. It was one mayor while these protests were going up. It was like Portland or somewhere over there, where she was all fine and dandy with letting the stuff happen. Right. But then the second they came to her house, so I guess you need to be careful. I guess I'd like to say I need to be careful when you sit there and say go to somebody's house. Even though I have a voice that people are going to listen to me and go over there, but still. It's just to bring up the scenario of like the hypocrisy and double standards when they're burning down Brian Heiner's house. Oh, it's just part of the protest. People have a right to do it. But the second somebody comes knocking on their door or busting in their house or marching through their, even if it's just marching through their backyard, then all of a sudden it's, what are these people doing here?
Right. And the one thing that I remember is that during the big protest last summer, you had an ESPN reporter, and he said, "Burn this shit down."
Yeah.
And then the protesters got outside his gated community, and he was like, "Where's the cop to stop these animals?" It transferred really quick. And as you saw there, all these reporters saying, "Oh, it's not pretty. Let them do it." They're fed up. I was not shocked this took place.
Yeah.
If you remember back in the beginning of 2020, you had a Second Amendment rally in Richmond, and a lot of gun owners showed up. They had their guns, they were, wearing it on their side, over their shoulder. Nothing happened. It was peaceful. It was clean. You had Alex Jones up there. You had Daniel Burma. He ran for the LP. He was seeking the nomination from the LP party. But there was a lot of people up there. It was done peacefully. It was done properly.
Yeah.
And then what happened? The legislators and senators went inside and they voted in a lot of gun laws. All right. We were being peaceful and we were being nice. Black Lives Matter rolls in May, June, and legislators and leaders are tripping over themselves to enact piss poor laws that they have to go back and fix because they were done improperly.
Yeah.
Remember, was it Parkland or Newtown? One of the two. They like, for example, New York State, not city, but New York State. They were saying, all right, anybody, you can't have 15 clips that has 15 rounds. It can put 15 rounds in it.
Yes.
Well, police officers walk around with clips, 15 rounds. So immediately, because they rushed to this is what happened.
Yeah.
They make bad laws, and it did not help the people who they're supposedly wanting to help.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple weeks ago, the right, like the Trump supporters, actually barged into the Oregon State Capitol and was doing some stuff. Now, I don't think it got violent or anything, but they barged in. They stormed it. They were being pepper sprayed. The right has been leaning more where they'll say, "Oh, back the blue," as you said.
Yeah.
And it's very true. Well, now the blue's in the center.
Yeah.
And they're getting it from the left. They're getting it from the right now. So when I saw that, I went, this is going to not be good. I knew they were going to DC. I knew because now you only can push so long and get kicked. I kick a dog. You're going to get bit if you keep kicking the dog.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like was happening with the right. Everybody who wore a red hat, they were told they were Nazis, fascists. The red hat's the new white hood.
Yeah, so new white hood, new Ku Klux Klan thing. What I find amazing though too is I talk to people and they I can't remember was this guy or some other people on Twitter, but they were talking about how Trump riled up his base. I was like, no, well, he riled them up to a certain extent, but no, these people were fired up before Trump got in office. Trump got in office as a result of these people being fired up by the rhetoric and by the tactics of the far left liberal, the liberal left and the Democrats, the establishment Democrats who enabled them. And this is long before Trump got in office. This is like them having a grievance.
Right.
That was long before Trump came in there. And, I could try to sit back and, trace things back. Okay, what caused this to what caused this, but it takes us down a whole other rabbit hole. But still, it's like, they had a grievance. Trump was a result of that grievance. And now what's happening now is a result of what happened in the last 4 years from the left and the right, from the Republicans enabling Trump to Trump doing what he's doing to the Democrats, doing what they did, which, caused people to be suspicious and push back even more.
Right.
There's no innocent parties here.
Oh, no, not. But what's really making me mad is you're seeing these, the news reporters, you're seeing our president, elect Joe Biden, and you're seeing sports stars, and they're making these statements, and it is pitting one against another. We need to be united. But then they make a statement like if that was blacks, then they would be treated completely different. And I'm not saying that that's not true in some aspects. I definitely don't want, but there is, by doing this, they're missing the mark greatly. But let's look at some of the, let me see if I can pull up some of the guys from the NBA, because, they're always, there's the Heat and Celtics player. They kneel for the anthem.
Yeah.
Let's see. NBA coaches.
Of course, the NBA, they were at the
we don't want to hear them.
For all of us to see, and probably something for us to reckon with. Again, this is not the masses. This is a group of people who have decided to be unruly. And if we just left it at that, I think we'd all be in a better place, right? It definitely
legitimate election is take action, and I'm just
here's Steve
all of them
Kerr.
just to have
I don't know which one that is.
But
I don't know what. I guess it's with the Clippers.
And let's make some movement. A legitimate election is suddenly questioned by millions of people, including many of the people who are leading our country in government, because we've decided to, over the last few years, allow lies to be told. So this is who we are. This is,
right there. He said for 4 years, we were at the coffee shop and they had a little rally here in Roanoke. He's not our president. This is an illegitimate president. They spent 4 years saying how this guy was not your president. He got in there with lies and cheats and steals and blah, blah, blah. Now we've got some issues, ballot boxes are always questioned. Let me bring you back. 2016, Jill Stein raised $7 million to prove that Trump lost Wisconsin, okay?
Yeah.
She raised more money. She's the Green Party candidate. She raised more money to get people to help her figure out, to show that Trump stole the election from Hillary. She did her entire campaign, right? She gets up there. She starts looking into it. They go to a couple counties. They find out more votes were cast than people who were there.
Yeah.
You know what happened? They just shut it down. You never heard anything again from it. We should have been working on this. 1960, Richard Nixon had the election stolen from him by John Kennedy.
Yeah.
Okay. We've been, so in turn, like I said, this has been going on for a long time. So why haven't we been trying to figure it out? Why shouldn't we be questioning things? When you have presidents standing there and they're being very, they call for unity, but at the same time they call for us to be separated.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me more than anything. That's not more than anything. That's just one of the things that bother me. So let me just say this too. And I'll just keep talking.
Yeah.
Because I never want to leave the dead air. But let me just say this too. Right now, the thing that the media is missing, and they don't want it to be said, Black Lives Matter, or that movement, and the folks who are the Trump supporters, they are fighting for the exact same thing. They are both being oppressed.
Yes.
Some way, somehow. But see, we're not allowed to be saying that. So really what the Trump supporters should do, and the Black Lives Matter should do, come together, fight the oppressors. I'm not saying that everything that one side wants, the other side wants.
But that they should team up.
Let's team up. Let's look and see what exactly you're wanting.
But here's the thing, though. Well, and obviously, it comes with, one, can they team up? Because, you would have to have both sides be able to cut through the BS. And, for example, they would team up. Okay, Trump, well, let me go team up with you. Well, then you'll have somebody else that may go, hey, don't team up with that person. That person's a white supremacist. Or don't team up with this person because this person feels this way. It kind of makes me think back to some of these protests that were going on, and this dealing with the police and everything, obviously. But it was a protester on the Black Lives Matter side, and I think usually, like, I want to say it was a young black lady or somebody, anyway, protesting Black Lives Matter side, talking to a police officer. And they were having a conversation, civil conversation. And then up walks somebody that's like it's usually like some white lady, some young white lady, and dressed in black. And she's jumping in front of the two, saying, don't talk to her, don't talk to him, trying to cut him off. So it's like if they can learn how to not allow other people to dictate who or influence who they talk to, maybe. I mean,
I think it's easier.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard because we all are connected now to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. You know more about them.
Yeah.
Because you're a millennial, not me.
Yeah, the 45-year-old millennial.
I wasn't going to expose you, but okay.
Hey,
well, that bit
that
bit ended quickly. We are all connected to these Instagram. We're connected to phones. We look at headlines of the news. The President Trump was able to connect a lot because some of the things he was saying was correct. The media is the enemy of the people.
That is, and it's weird because it's like, you got the media is the enemy. Like the mainstream media is the enemy of the people. So go to non-mainstream sources. But then you look at some of these non-mainstream sources, and then there's questionable activities that happen with them.
There is questionable, but a lot of times I feel more secure when I look at a Glenn Greenwald or a Tim Pool, or and I know like crazy Alex Jones. I get more. I can like look at it and go, okay, I'll read it and then I cipher it. Just because you say it don't mean I'm going to go, well, that's the way I'm going to believe it. Tim Pool said it. Alex Jones said it. No, I'm going to definitely research everything.
Look into it.
If I really want to start repeating it.
Yeah.
But people have got to drop social media. And like I said, if the red hats would join Black Lives Matter and figure out exactly what they're wanting. See, there's a side, like I said, Black Lives Matter. We've talked about this in the past. There's the movement and there's the incorporated.
Yeah.
The incorporated is the communist, Marxist. We've also got to be fighting right now because it is proven China, Russia, and other countries, because they know the race relations here in the United States, which is boggling to me that they're only in America. Maybe it's in other countries too. But it's like here in America, we have this, like we're supposed to be non-racist,
but the rest of the world looks at us.
Everybody looks at us like we're supposed to be like it, but everyone else will be racist.
Yeah.
It's okay for them to be. We've got to join forces. They've got to join forces. They need to join the Libertarian Party. Start voting differently. You can't keep voting for Joe Biden, because if you look at Joe Biden's history for 47 years, if you look at Kamala Harris's, her time from a prosecutor to as a senator, she has been, both of them are not on the side of the movement that people like to claim that they are.
Yeah.
Just like when you look at Donald Trump, he was a big government Democrat who was grown. Now I understand the coronavirus, but the deficit went from 18.9 trillion to almost $28 trillion under Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He was campaigning that he was going to cut it in half. He is not the most libertarian president that I get told all the time. He's not the great Christian man that Jerry Falwell Jr. liked to tell everybody.
No.
He, as his second wife who was pregnant, he's cheating on her on his plane with his third wife.
And
not to say that hasn't happened before.
Yeah, but still.
But come on, let's not.
And like the thing with Trump though is, it's everybody's an extreme with him. Like people who support him think he's the best thing ever, and he clearly, personal opinions are subjective, but clearly he is not. And then of course the other side think that he's the worst thing to ever come out, and clearly it is not.
Right.
But people have allowed themselves to be manipulated on some level, I find it completely, not to steer off topic, but I just want to bring this. I find it completely amazing how prior to 2016 and him getting the nomination to run against Hillary Clinton, the masses didn't really have an issue with Donald Trump.
No, they loved him.
They loved him. He was a reality TV star. No, they didn't think he was. He still had some negativity revolving around some issues they had in the past, and maybe some deals that he screwed people over on and stuff. So but overall they didn't care. It wasn't until he started running in 2016 that they started really bashing him and utilize and bringing up things that other presidents have done, or opinions that they've had. And then, of course, especially after he beat the golden child, Hillary Clinton,
right?
That's when things really started turning south, and people really started this hatred for him,
right?
But that's not to sit there and defend him and say that he's innocent and everything that he's done. But it's just to sit and point how the left was manipulated in that regard.
Oh, absolutely. And this is just a sad day, I think, but because I think people are like, we could really join forces, everybody, if they would just talk to one another. But what we do is we watch headlines, we watch a little clip. We watch like a 30-second clip of a fight or whatever, an argument, and we immediately go, oh, that person's right. Oh, that person's wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, 2021 I think is going to be a violent year. I'm afraid. I don't foresee it being good, because I think with Joe Biden coming in, I think he's going to do a lockdown, because his people are wanting to do a lockdown.
That's really going to help out.
They're going to start mandating stuff, and that's a powder keg. Go on and put us in lockdown right now. We're going to be coming out of the lockdown in April and May, right when it starts summertime. So when it starts heating up, that's when people protest really hard. And I trust me on this one. They're going to use all of this that was happening right now to take our freedoms and liberties from us. And so in turn, now is the time to start organizing properly and not just using your energy to bounce off the wall, but you almost got to come together.
I'm sitting there thinking, because I'm trying to think, because he wants to come and lock stuff down. But, we've had many, and of course, COVID plays a part in this, because that's why they want to lock stuff down. But you lock down and you could develop something of cabin fever. And then, of course, you're sitting there thinking about, one side's thinking about, oh, we're saving lives. The other side's thinking about, yeah, but you're ruining lives because you're shutting down businesses and the economy. And all this other. So people are getting frustrated while on lockdown, while the cabin fever aspect of it. So if you lock us down even more, you're just going to continue that cycle. But then I start thinking about, well, Italy has way stricter lockdowns than what we do. Way stricter curfews. You can't go out without a mask. You can't go you can't travel between certain zones in Italy. At least that's what they had the big lockdown when it first started. Then they lifted restrictions, and then they had to go back under restrictions, and then they start lifting. Even long story short, I guess the point I'm getting to is it was tough for them, but they didn't reach the level of frenzy that of course, there's other stuff going on. You got the presidential election, you got all this other, but it makes me sit here and think, is it just the circumstances surrounding us, that they have to work underneath the same circumstances over there with elections and election fraud and all this other stuff, claims of election fraud, all this other stuff, and the black lives and the protests for rights? Would their reaction be like ours, or is it just something that is within our quote unquote culture?
I think a lot of it's our culture, because we are very free.
Yeah.
We're able to call our president an idiot. We're able to burn him. Not burn him, but burn pictures and just, we're not like in China, which was an awesome story, where Mao said, anyone who has an issue with the party, the Communist Party or the government, please come and let us know. And so we can be better. So everyone went.
And they weren't, and those people
were told, this is what we think you're doing wrong. And then they were escorted off and executed. Idiots. But we are living in a world where we can call our news, our media knows this. That's what's so sick. Right now, let's finish this up real quick. And I don't have any clips, but right now, Twitter has suspended Donald Trump. I think they've banned him permanently.
Interestingly,
and well, he went on to the
Parler.
he went to the Team Trump Twitter account was posting. They banned that. They went to another account, and he started to jump like a troll and from other accounts, and he was getting his message out, and they were banning this, and he finally just banned him for life, I believe. Donald Trump saved Twitter because Twitter was not being used very much, and then all of a sudden he got on there and started using it, and stock went up. People started using it. Now people use Twitter. I'll be interested in seeing I wonder if the thing connects now. People are using it, or will it disappear? Facebook, of course, banned him for 2 weeks because they said he's inciting riots. Once again, these are private businesses, okay? And I have really, as a person, since it's a private business, even though I'm very much against censorship.
Yeah, they have the right.
It's hard for me to sit here and argue otherwise. What should happen is the right should make up their own group or whatever and say, well, if you want whatever you want to talk about, you can talk about. But when you real quick, Parler is now being told by Google and Apple, if you do not censor or control it or whatever, that will remove your app from our app store. Yeah, you've got Ross Ulrich. He started the Silk Road, and the Silk. This is several years ago. I think during the Obama administration, he didn't do anything. But what the Silk Road was allowed, you could trade from Bitcoins to prostitutes to drug dealing and things of that nature. Well, they hooked him and tried to say, well, he was involved. He's now serving like 3 life sentences, and people look him up. That's a tragedy. So if Parler was to say, all right, everybody go, say what you want, we're not censoring nobody. Well, then you're having these big tech organizations censor you. There's only 6 media conglomerates. I should always say big words that I can not spell, but they have just released Tucker Carlson show, CNN, because there's only 6 people who really run the news organizations. All right, they went there and said, "We'll get Fox News off the cable system." This is scary times. And look, Fox News is not a friend of the right. Yeah, we can pretend. Yeah, but they are more right than the others. But let's not pretend that they're just right-wing bastions.
See, here's the problem with that. It's very dangerous times because it is removing. I mean, you can sit on your semantics of freedom of speech and all this other stuff, but it is taking away rights and freedoms to a certain extent. But the biggest problem is, let me try to get my train of thought here. All right, okay, let's just, you have the Trump supporters who are, their biggest grievance is that they are being silenced and their president is being silenced. And then when you do these actions, such as waiting until he has 10 days or less before he leaves office, and now all of a sudden you want to cut his Twitter off. And I think somebody I think it was Tommy Lee who's not a fan.
The drummer?
Yeah, Tommy Lee Furlan.
Is that his real name?
No, his wife's name is Brittany Furlan. So instead of Brittany Furlan, let's say Tommy Lee Furlan.
See, I'm not hip to that type of.
He came out. He goes, "You're a little too late to silence him now. That 4 years too late, and so you're gonna wait till now to silence him." But anyway, what it does is it just in the minds of Trump and in the minds of his supporters. And then also there may be some people out there who are in the middle of the road. They're not really Trump supporters, for or against them, but they may look at these actions and you're just validating their claims in their mind. Oh, he talks about he's always been silenced and now you're going to silence him. He moves over to this other platform that is not owned by these people, but now you want to come over there and you want to silence that platform. You want to silence our voice. That's just going to fire up even more.
Right. We're living in a strange time, and honestly, I hope that we get it together. But like I said, we need to get off social media. You need to use social media for good. You
It's
know?
like that's the part. Like social, it's
but-
good and bad with social media. So
it
it's like
is.
you gotta do that skills. Like,
But like I said, I do believe that libertarians should try to go over to the red hats and not just libertarians, but every party, whatever sect you sit in. Let's look at like, all right, what are we fighting? And like I said, Black Lives Matter and the MAGA country are fighting the oppression.
Yeah.
Join forces, fight the oppression, or fight for the things that you agree on. We can worry about the other stuff later.
Yeah.
I still believe that the libertarian philosophy is the right route. With you don't use force for social, economic, or political gain. So in turn, the individual should be number one. That's the largest minority out there. As long as you're doing something that doesn't harm anyone else, you can do it. I would prefer if you're hurting yourself. Obviously, I would want you to do it.
Yeah.
You know, but people better come together because I think we are definitely in a crazy time.
We're in a transition period.
Right.
Well, how we come out on the other end is the uncertainty.
So I guess we're at the hour mark. We're a little past the hour. So thank you very much for coming on today. We could probably go over some more stuff, but I don't have it written out, and I think we might start just jib jabbing a little bit too much. But thank you for coming on. Hopefully you'll come
Thanks
back
for having
on.
me.
And do you have anything that you want to plug? You can plug. You don't have to plug your YouTube channel. You can plug someone else's if you want to plug it.
I really don't have anything to plug. I mean, I got my YouTube channel. What is my YouTube channel? Yeah, that guy right there.
Okay.
But
I'll put it in the description.
Okay. But yeah, so my YouTube channel is just all over the place. I haven't pinpointed and haven't much focus on it. But hell, if you want to go over there, you might find something that you might be interested in, or you might not. But you never know unless you try.
Yeah, so please go over there, like and subscribe to his videos, Shaun's videos. And as always, please like and subscribe to ours. Click the notification bell, hit the like and share button. Follow us on Twitter at WeAreMaxLib. And we're going to end this video with a song. I was listening to Rancid, and it's called Liberty and Freedom. And it is a cover by, his name is John Griffin IV. He does an excellent job of it. It's a great song. It says a lot, and it says it. I'll just read the lyrics real quick. It says, out in the open, they ain't going to hide. Police state upon us, prepare to collide. They're going to keep you down, step on your neck, can't move no more. The weapon of their choosing is censorship and war. And I can see the lineup now. Everyone is just partisan. You just see one side claims victory, but it's just a zero sum. And then it goes into liberty and freedom in the quotations. So let's bring up John, and you guys have a good day. Thanks for staying on. And until next time, I'm Brian, that's Shaun, and we'll see you later.
Out in the open, they ain't gonna hide. Police state upon us, prepare to collide. They're gonna keep us down, stepping on the neck and moving. The weapon of their choosing is censorship and you're not to see the lineup now. Everyone is just partisan. See one side claim victory, but it's just a zero sum. Liberty and freedom. In quotation, scripted on the wall, globalized, explosion. We will come back someday. Now you're in contempt. Report to the committee. No one is exempt. And the zealots and the crusaders designed to justify with threats and intimidation to terrify. Yeah, come on now. Liberty and free. In quotation, Griffin